Now, company is a separate entity. Now, understand here. Now, formation of a company is divided broadly into 4 criteria. One is the promotion. Shareholders are the real owner of the business. Identification of business opportunities. So, why and what are the functions of a promoter? There are big companies which has gone for a toss only in this economic feasibility. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. I'm Vidhyaashram from the Department of Business Studies in Vidhyaashram PU College, the Temple of Excellence. In this chapter, the 7th chapter, which is all about the very important topic, and this chapter is there for your examination, that is formation of a company. Now, we already know what exactly a company is. Now, company is a separate entity. Now, understand here, when we learned about the joint stock, you already know that company is an artificial person. The same way here, company has a beautiful character, that is, it is a separate legal entity. What is it? It's a separate legal entity. Right, that is, identity is different. That means a company is different and the people who are working there are different. And then we have one more, that is, it is perpetual succession. What we call that as? We call that as perpetual succession. So now, because of these two characteristics, you should know that whenever we form a company, we need to do some procedure. That is, we need to go for a proper registration. Only then those things can happen. The registration will lead to one more thing called as, there is something called limited liability and unlimited liability. For a sole proprietor and for partnership, we have understood that there is something called unlimited liability. Though 2013 Companies Act, please understand, these are the act which you will remember and you need to recall. That is 2013 Companies Act. What they said is, even in partnership, there are criteria, there are some kind of play where you will actually get limited partnership also. But the criteria is very, very important. You need to know the conditions also. That is, one of the partner will have unlimited liability, whereas the rest of the partners can have limited liability. Again, they are supposed to go and register in the registrar office. So here you already know that we have something called limited liability. Now, these are the things which you are supposed to know. Now we'll go with the introduction of what is the formation of the company and all about. The steps which are required, from the time a business idea originates to the time a company is legally ready to commence business are referred to as stages in the formation of a company. Now, the chapter itself says what formation of a company. Now, what exactly happens here is, the business enterprises or the people who are the entrepreneurs who want to start a business, what is that they do is, the first thing is they start with an idea. That idea can change the life. So, what exactly happens is, just by having an idea and not implementing it, you cannot form a company. So, you should always go with the stages of formation of a company. That is, from the idea till it goes to the register, and then you implement your plan, and then the business firm will start running. So what all the stages will be there, we'll just check, and we need to understand that because it is very, very important. And this is a 8-mark question, that is formation of a company, the stages which you are supposed to know. Now, formation of a company is divided broadly into 4 criteria. One is the promotion, incorporation, subscription of capital, and the last one is commencement of business. Now, I'll just repeat. One is promotion. Second one we have is incorporation. When I say incorporation, now please understand here. Now, incorporation incorporation. That means registration. That is called as registration. Now, how to register a company? Now, once you get an idea, you will not start with that idea. You will actually find who are the promoters. That is the first stage. That is, you need to have solid cash as well as the liquid cash. Now here, what exactly I mean to say the solid cash and the liquid cash in the sense, you need to have finance, you need to have fund to start a company. So here the promotion will happen, but incorporation means now you are going more with the written documents, legalizing your business, and then you are going and registering your company in the registrar office. So that is called incorporation. Then the next one is subscription of capital. Now you know that there are two types of company. One we have is the public company. What is that called as? Public company. And one more we have is the private company. The private company. Now for both the companies, we will not go with the same kind of subscription of capital. There is a lot of difference between public company and a private company. When it comes to minimum subscription, which is being done for a private company, is only 1 lakh rupees, and when it comes to a public company, it is 5 lakh rupees. So there is a difference here. And the last one is commencement of business. You will get to know when and how you can commence the business. For a private company, just by one certificate, you can commence or you can start the business. But whereas the public company, you really need more documents and certificates. We call that as the incorporation certificate, plus you will have commencement certificate, plus there are so many mandatory rules and regulations which the registrar will actually implement, and you are supposed to follow those rules, and then the company can be formed and you can commence the business. So here we'll go one by one and we'll check what exactly the first one was, the promotion. Promotion of a company. Now please understand this chart very easily, right? Now promotion. Now here promotion, in the sense, we will first meet a person called promoter, right? And then we will go with directors. Then we'll go with members. And then we'll go with the shareholders. So here these are the criteria. Now SH means shareholders, right? Now the first one is the promotion. Here we have the first person called as promoter, second we have is the director, thirdly we'll go with member, and then the lastly is the shareholder. But let me tell you, shareholders are the real owner of the business, right? But you need to understand and you need to make clear that are you listing a private company or a public company? So when you go with a private company, what happens is the shareholders are restricted. That means the minimum member to be there in a private company is 2 and the maximum is 200. When it is 200, that means you will only issue shares to your private group. You will not issue it in a prospectus. Then the next one is the members. That means people who have taken your shares, or whether it is equity shareholder or a preference shareholder, or people who have given you the loan called debenture holders. All the people are called as the members here. And then the directors. According to the 2013 Companies Act, what is the latest news is there should be minimum 2 members who can be the directors. That means what? Minimum directors is how much? Only 2. And then the promoters. Now promoters can be anybody, right? But what is the criteria? The total, if you put on promoter, member, shareholder, all the people, minimum to start a private company is 2 and the maximum is 200. Now we'll go what exactly this promotion is. Promotion is the first step in the formation of a company. It involves conceiving a business opportunity and taking an initiative to form a company so that practical shape can be given to exploiting the available business opportunity. So here what happens is we have seen that what exactly the opportunity is. We have listed our own people, that is the promoter. Now who is the promoter? Promoter is a person who will start investing in a business. That is the first person who gonna invest in a business. We term them as the promoters. Now there is no mandatory that the promoters should be in the business for lifelong. It is not like that. There are many people who initially feel the idea taken by any entrepreneur is good and they start funding him. When they start funding him, those people can be a promoter. But later what happens is they feel that I'll take my profit and then I'll move on, because he'll only venture with new businesses. So promoters are these people who takes the first profit also. Next is the directors. Now directors should have a consent. What is the word? The word is called consent. See, everybody should have this word common called consent. There should be voluntary association of people. It cannot be with any force. So all the promoters, directors, members, shareholder, debenture holder, preference shareholder, equity shareholder should give a consent, and those people are also called as signatories. What are we calling them as? Signatories. While I'll explain you more about the formation of company, you will get these topics called signatories, directors, promoters. Next one is functions of a promoter. Now I told you who is a promoter. Now let's check what exactly the function of a promoter is. Now we have promoter. Done. Now identification of business opportunity. So why and what are the functions of a promoter? Why is it very important? Why it is not important? He'll actually see that only when there is an opportunity of a business, only then he'll invest his monies, right? So that is the first thing, is identification of business opportunity. Second one is feasibility studies. Please understand this feasibility studies. That means feasible in the sense it can happen. Now you shouldn't think that, sir, you have told in our business studies class that impossible is often untried. Now we'll go with impossible thing itself because it is often untried, we can do it. But let me tell you, in a business what happens is sometimes you need to be very careful and you shouldn't go with a different wave. When I say this, what exactly I mean is resources are scarcity. That means it is very little. Finance is also what it is, you can invest it, but once you invest and you make a loss, you can't invest it again. So that means what, you should be very careful with your finance. Sometimes what happens is you should study the first thing called as the feasibility. Can it happen or it can't happen? Now that feasibility is divided into three parts. That is, the first one is technical feasibility. Now technically, are we talking properly? Can it happen? That is what the technical feasibility. Financial feasibility. Sometimes what happens is technical, economical, everything is good. You have a beautiful plan, but you don't have that money to invest. Say example, now this pandemic has happened, right? Now many companies, they are suffering so much. The reason is all about what? Financial feasibility. The people who are working in the company itself, now you should know that you need to pay salary to them. Now you are getting the work done from them, but you are not able to pay salary. Now what will happen is they will not be there in your business, or you should only remove them from the business. The reason is what? Financial. Are you stable? The next one is economic feasibility. Now you have finance. Technically also it is really good, but economic feasibility, now the real economy of the entire country is going down. Now can you start it? So these are the terms. I'll go one by one. We'll understand more about this feasibility. Next one we have is name approval. What is it? Name approval. Now the promoter, it's a function of the promoter that he should get the name approved in the registrar office by the registrar. The next one is fixing up signatories. See, I told you the word called signatories. We're going to be using this word called signatories. Who are the people who are in the signatories? Is the directors, the board of directors, then you have your managing director, then company secretary, promoters. They are called as the signatory to the memorandum of association. Now what is this memorandum of association? Memorandum of association means it is a document. It is what? It's a document. Then we have appointment of professionals. When I say professionals, we talk about chartered accountant, company secretary. Now all these people are called as the professionals. And the last one we have is preparation of necessary documents. So these are the functions of the promoter. Now here we had the promoters, right? Done. Promoters. Now what are the function of promoters? The first one is he will identify what? Identify the ideas. Then second one he'll go with, now you need to recall all the things and then you are supposed to come, is whether it is feasible or not, feasibility. Now he'll check the feasibilities. Third one, he will get the name approval. Then he'll go with the signatories. Then the next one is appointment of professionals. And the last one here is, it's all about, he will go with the documentation, that is documentation. So these are the functions of the promoter. Let's check one by one what exactly he need to do. The first one is identification of business opportunity. Here what he'll do is, the first and foremost activity of a promoter is to identify the business opportunity. Very true. The opportunity may be in respect of producing a new product or service or making some product available through a different channel. That means what will happen is, he can go with manufacturing, right? Or he can go with producing it, or procure the goods. Or he can go with services. So you need to understand, see, manufacturing is different, producing is different. Manufacturing is, in the sense, all non-living things, you can actually go with manufacturing. When I say producing, it's all about the living thing, right? That is called genetic. And then procuring the goods, in the sense, somebody have actually manufactured, I'll only take it from him and then I'll sell it. So that is called procuring. Then you have services. Now when you go with the procurement, what happens is, you are not taking too much of risk. Somebody is doing it, you will take it on a credit basis, you will sell the product and then you will get the profit. The remaining amount, whatever the profit, you will take it and then you will give it to the person whom you have taken credit. So very easy. But here services, I'll tell you, in entire world, it's not just India, in the entire world, probably 74% of the entire business is with services. That means they are dealing with services. That means what? You need to understand, nowadays, 21st century, people want services more than the product. Product they have, but what is that they need to have? That is product they'll buy only once. But services, every year they need it, because that's the reason service industry is booming in India as well as in the entire world. We have the next one is feasibility studies. Now feasibility studies, in the sense, you should know that whether it is feasible or profitable to convert all identity business opportunity into real project. Can you do it? Right? Now we'll have brilliant ideas, but while executing these ideas, what happens is, we feel that sometimes it is not possible, right? Now it can be anywhere, that is technical, economic, or it can be financial one. So you need to make the identity as a real project, that is called as feasibility. The promoters therefore undertake detailed feasibility studies to investigate all aspects of the business they intend to start. So I told you about these three things, that is called technical, then we had economical, whether it is done, or financial. So these are the things which are the real aspect which you need to see whether it is possible or it is not possible. Now, what is technical feasibility? Sometimes an idea may be good, but technically not possible to execute. It may be so because the required raw material or technology is not easily available. At that moment, it is not available. So what happens is you can't start the business. Next one here is financial feasibility. Again, the idea is really good. Technology is also there, but you can't buy it, right? Because you don't have fund. You can't go with the source. See, source of finance you have already learned. Now in the source of finance, I told you where all we can actually go and find the money. But here they have checked everywhere, but they are not able to raise funds. So what happens is, beautiful idea is there, technology is there, economy is there, everything is there, but money isn't there with you. So you can't start it. Every business activity requires fund. The promoter have to estimate the fund required for the identified business opportunity. So here what happens is, if you have fund, it is really good. If you don't have fund, you can't start it. Economic feasibility. Sometimes it so happens that a project is technically viable and financially feasible, but the chances of its being profitable is very little. In such cases as well, the idea may have to be abandoned. Now understand, economic feasibility. There are big companies which has gone for a toss only in this economic feasibility. I'll tell you here. There was a company, I'll give you a real company name, right? Nokia. Now, Nokia is a company which was originated from Finland. And when Nokia wanted to really come to the entire global market and capture the entire market, they were able to do it because the feasibility was so much good. Later, what happened in the early 2000s, the feasibility of Nokia started to deplete. Now understand, they were technically really good. They had a strong finance, but economically what happened was they didn't go with updating their technology. They did not go with updating their technology. That is a time where Samsung company, again Samsung company is a South Korean company. Now Samsung company took over Nokia, and then what happened was they were really doing good. When I say took over, in the sense they didn't take the Nokia company, they came to the competition and they were number one. Now Nokia, which was number one from the 1990s to early 2000, now what happened is South Korean company called Samsung, they took over the place of Nokia and they were in the top. Again understand, South Korea, Samsung mobiles. In the late 2000 and early 2010 and all, the American company, that is Apple, they came and they took over the position. Now what has happened? Understand, Nokia, they had finance, they had the market, but because of technology, what happened is whatever they were doing it was giving them a loss but not profitable. So what happens here is economic feasibility was a problem. When it comes to Samsung also, Samsung, now they were really good. Financially they were good, then economically they were good, but because of technology and because of the market, people always want something called a different product. They always go with their own swing. So what happens is Apple was a company which came and they took the entire market down, and now they are in the top. Now try to understand, these are the companies. Now all these three companies should also check what? Economic feasibility, technological feasibility and financial feasibility. So as a promoter, if you start a business, what are the three things which you are supposed to not forget? That is feasibility, and that to what? Technologically you are supposed to check, economically you should check, and the last one is your financial also you are supposed to go with. Next one we have is the name approval. Now here what happens is, having decided to launch a company, now understand, when you go with the name, the major aspect here is that should not be a duplicate, or it should not be a copied version, or you can't actually harm any religion. So name is being very selective. Now you need to select a name which should be really good, unique, and it should not be copied or duplicated, or it cannot be like you are discriminating any gender or creed or religion. So that is what the name you are supposed to suggest. Having decided to launch a company, the promoters have to select name for it and submit an application to the registrar of companies of the state in which the registered office of the company is to be situated for its approval. So you should actually decide a name and then give it to whom? To the registered office in the registrar presence. Fixing up signatories, that means what? You should actually have members, that is promoters have to decide about members who will be signing the memorandum of association of the proposed company. When I say memorandum of association, please understand, memorandum of association is a document. It's a legal document. And what exactly this memorandum of association have? It have all the objectives of the company. What is that it carries? It carries the objectives of the company. Now, whatever is not written in the memorandum of association, you cannot do it. That means whatever you will be writing in memorandum of association, that is whether yours is a manufacturing company or producing company or it is service rendering company. Now those things you are supposed to specify it properly, because once it is done, you cannot change the business. So memorandum of association is very important. Now as a promoter, you need to select people who will be the signatories. Appointment of professionals. Here what happens is you need to go with something called a chartered accountant of your company or a company secretary, and then you are supposed to actually appoint MD, managing director. Now I'll tell you the criteria is also here, and who are the bankers. All these things you are supposed to know. Now certain professionals such as mercantile bankers, then auditors, then etc. are appointed by the promoters to assist them in the preparation of necessary documents which are required to be with the registrar of company. So you will have what here? Who are your banker, right? All these things are the professionals which you are supposed to check. Next is preparation of necessary document. That document is what? There are two kind of document. One is your MOA and then AOA. So when I say MOA, that is called Memorandum of Association, and when I say AOA, that is called as Article of Association. I'll tell you what it is. It is called Article of Association. Now again, article of association is also very mandate if it is a private company. When it comes to a public company, article of association doesn't have too much value, but memorandum of association and the table A is actually being valued in the public company. I'll tell you what exactly a table A is. You don't need to worry. We'll go with the baby steps. We'll learn each and everything very fast, as well as with feasible effect. So these are the documents and the functions of promoters. Please understand all the concept here. Once again, check the session. And if you have any doubt, students, you can call us. We are always there to help you. Vidhyaashram is the only college which is doing everything for the students for free. And I'll tell you, students, please take this as a blessing from the God and learn the subject as you people need to learn it. And this is for the examination. So thank you so much. I'll see you when I see you.